There are moments in life when we find ourselves surrounded by many voices, many smiles, many promises. People may speak kindly, they may stand close, and outwardly everything appears sincere. But deep within the heart there can still be uncertainty. Who truly cares? Who is genuine? Who will remain when the circumstances change? This is where the precious ministry of the Holy Spirit becomes so real and so personal. The Holy Spirit does something that human understanding alone cannot do. He sees beyond appearances. He sees deeper than words. While we often judge by what is visible, the Holy Spirit knows the hidden places of the heart. He knows intentions that have never been spoken, motives that have never been revealed, and thoughts that remain concealed behind polite expressions. There are times when you may feel a quiet nudge within your spirit while interacting with someone. Nothing may appear wrong on the surface, yet something inside gently whispers caution. At other times you may feel an unusual peace around a person, a sense of trust and sincerity that cannot easily be explained. This inner awareness is not imagination. It is often the Holy Spirit guiding your heart, helping you discern what human eyes cannot see. Many people struggle because they try to figure out loyalty using only logic and observation. They watch behavior, they analyze conversations, and they attempt to interpret every action. But the truth is that human judgment can easily be deceived. Someone may say the right things and still carry a different intention within. Yet the Holy Spirit is never confused. Nothing escapes his understanding. When you walk closely with the Holy Spirit, he begins to illuminate relationships in ways you may never have expected. Sometimes the revelation comes gently. Over time, you begin to notice small patterns. Words and actions begin to align or contradict each other. Situations unfold, and suddenly what once seemed unclear becomes unmistakably evident. There are also moments when the Holy Spirit protects you before harm ever reaches you. He may create distance between you and someone whose motives are not pure. Circumstances may change, opportunities may shift, conversations may reveal something unexpected, and only later do you realize that what appeared to be an inconvenience was actually divine protection. But the Holy Spirit does not reveal these things to fill the heart with suspicion or fear. His purpose is always love, wisdom, and protection. He reveals truth so that you can walk in peace rather than confusion. He guides you so that your heart is not entangled in relationships that could wound your spirit or hinder the purpose God has placed upon your life. And something else begins to happen as you learn to listen to his gentle voice. You stop striving to control every relationship. You stop exhausting yourself trying to prove who is trustworthy. Instead, you begin to rest in the quiet assurance that the Holy Spirit is already working on your behalf. He knows who is loyal to you. He knows who celebrates your growth and who secretly resists it. He knows who speaks blessing over your life and who carries hidden resentment. And in his perfect timing, he reveals what needs to be revealed. When the Holy Spirit opens your spiritual eyes, the truth about people no longer remains hidden. There is something about difficult seasons that reveals the truth about relationships. When everything is going well, when doors are open and joy fills the atmosphere, many people will gladly walk beside you. In times of celebration, the room can feel full. Words of support come easily. Smiles are abundant. Encouragement seems everywhere. But the true measure of loyalty is rarely revealed in moments of comfort. It is revealed in moments of pressure. The Holy Spirit has a quiet way of allowing circumstances to uncover what could never be seen during easy seasons. When challenges arise, when uncertainty enters your life, when the path ahead becomes difficult, something begins to change around you. People who once seemed very close may suddenly become distant. Voices that were once loud with encouragement may grow silent. Invitations may disappear. Support may fade. And yet, in that same moment, something beautiful begins to happen. The Holy Spirit gently reveals the few who remain steady. Loyal people do not disappear when life becomes complicated. They do not withdraw when you face hardship. Instead, they draw nearer. They remain present when there is nothing to gain, nothing to celebrate, and nothing that benefits them personally. The Holy Spirit often uses adversity as a mirror that reflects the sincerity of the hearts around you. It is not always comfortable to see this, but it is always necessary. Because in those moments you begin to recognize that loyalty is not proven through words spoken in bright seasons, but through presence in dark ones. There are people who will stand beside you even when they cannot fix your situation. They may not have all the answers. They may not know exactly what to say. Yet they remain. They pray for you. They listen to you. They support you quietly without drawing attention to themselves. This is the kind of loyalty the Holy Spirit highlights. It is not loud, and it is not performed for recognition. It is consistent, patient, and sincere. Sometimes the Holy Spirit allows trials not to harm you but to clarify your circle. In the middle of a storm, distractions fall away. Superficial connections lose their strength. What remains are the relationships that were built on genuine care rather than convenience. You may discover that the number of people around you becomes smaller during such seasons. But what remains becomes stronger, purer, and more meaningful. The Holy Spirit is not interested in surrounding you with crowds. He is interested in surrounding you with truth. And when you look back after the storm has passed, you begin to see something clearly. The individuals who remain beside you during your most difficult moments are often the very ones the Holy Spirit has placed in your life with divine purpose. Their loyalty was not dependent on your success. It was not attached to your position, your influence, or your circumstances. Their loyalty was rooted in genuine love and faithfulness. The Holy Spirit does not merely reveal who walks with you when the path is smooth. He reveals who refuses to leave when the road becomes steep, uncertain, and lonely. And when the difficult season passes, you understand something that could only be learned through the storm. Loyalty shines brightest when life grows darkest. There is a beautiful gift the Holy Spirit places within the heart of every believer, and it is the gift of discernment. It is not something loud or forceful. Often it is very gentle, almost like a quiet whisper within your spirit. Yet that quiet awareness can protect you, guide you, and reveal truths that no amount of human reasoning could uncover. Many people expect the Holy Spirit to speak through dramatic signs or overwhelming moments. But very often His guidance comes through a deep inner knowing. You may be sitting in a conversation, listening to someone speak, and while their words sound pleasant, something within your spirit feels unsettled. You cannot fully explain it, yet there is a gentle caution rising from within. At other times, you may meet someone for the first time and immediately feel an unexplainable peace. There is a sense of sincerity, a warmth of spirit, a quiet assurance that this person carries honesty in their heart. No one around you may notice it, and there may be nothing outwardly extraordinary, yet your spirit recognizes something deeper. This is the Holy Spirit giving you inner discernment. You see, the Holy Spirit communicates with your spirit, not merely your mind. Human logic often focuses on appearances, on what is said, on what is visible. But the Holy Spirit sees beyond appearances and touches the inner awareness that God has placed within you. When you learn to listen to that inner guidance, your understanding of people begins to change. There are moments when the Holy Spirit will give you peace about someone who may not seem impressive to others. They may not be the loudest voice in the room. They may not seek attention. But something within your spirit recognizes integrity and kindness in them. Then there are other times when the Holy Spirit quietly warns you, not through fear, not through accusation, but through a subtle uneasiness. You may notice that your spirit does not feel settled around certain attitudes, certain conversations, or certain behaviors. The Holy Spirit is not trying to create suspicion in your heart. He is simply guiding you to see what may not yet be visible. Discernment grows stronger through prayer. The more time you spend in the presence of God, the clearer that inner voice becomes. Prayer quiets the noise of the world. It softens the heart and sharpens spiritual sensitivity. When you step away from constant distractions and seek the presence of the Holy Spirit, your spirit becomes more attentive to His leading. This is why people who walk closely with the Holy Spirit often sense things before they fully understand them. They feel a gentle prompting to move closer to certain people, and a quiet wisdom to keep distance from others. It is not judgment, it is spiritual awareness. And the beautiful thing is that the Holy Spirit never forces His guidance. He simply reveals, He gently nudges, He places peace or caution within your heart, and invites you to listen. The more you trust that inner guidance, the more clearly you begin to recognize loyalty, sincerity, and truth in the people around you. What once felt confusing begins to make sense. What once seemed uncertain becomes clearer over time. The Holy Spirit faithfully guides those who are willing to listen. And when you learn to trust that quiet voice within, you begin to see people not only with human eyes, but with spiritual understanding. There is a truth that becomes clearer the longer we walk with the Holy Spirit, and it is this: loyalty is not proven by grand promises or impressive words. True loyalty reveals itself through the fruit that a person consistently produces in their life. You may hear someone say they care deeply for you. You may hear them speak with warmth and kindness. But the Holy Spirit teaches us to look beyond what is spoken and quietly observe what grows from the heart over time. Because every heart produces fruit, whether good or bad, sincere or deceptive. The Holy Spirit gently opens our eyes to this reality. When someone truly carries loyalty within their spirit, it will naturally express itself through their actions. It appears in the way they speak about you when you are not present. It appears in the way they treat you when no one else is watching. It appears in the quiet consistency of their character. Loyal people carry honesty. They do not manipulate truth or distort words for their own advantage. Even when honesty is uncomfortable, they choose it because their heart values integrity more than convenience. They also carry kindness, not a kindness that appears only when life is easy, but a kindness that remains steady even when circumstances become difficult. Loyal people do not use harshness or cruelty when you are vulnerable. Instead, they protect your dignity. Patience is another fruit that reveals loyalty. There are moments in every relationship where misunderstandings arise, where emotions become strained, or where life places pressure on both individuals. Disloyal hearts quickly become impatient. They withdraw, criticize, or abandon the relationship altogether. But a loyal heart remains patient. It seeks understanding rather than escape. And then there is faithfulness. Faithfulness is perhaps the clearest fruit of loyalty. It is the quiet decision to remain steady. Faithfulness does not shift with every circumstance. It does not disappear when someone else becomes more useful or more popular. Faithfulness remains rooted. The Holy Spirit often draws our attention to these fruits because they reveal the true condition of the heart. A person may speak beautifully about friendship, support, or commitment, but if their life consistently produces jealousy, dishonesty, or selfishness, the fruit will eventually reveal the truth. This is why the Holy Spirit teaches us not to rush our judgments about people. Time allows fruit to grow, and as time passes, character becomes visible. There are individuals whose loyalty becomes more evident the longer you know them. Their words remain consistent with their actions. Their encouragement remains steady even when your path changes. Their support does not depend on whether your life benefits them. The Holy Spirit often highlights these individuals quietly. You begin to notice their sincerity. You recognize that their kindness is not temporary. You see that their honesty does not change depending on the situation. In contrast, the absence of these fruits also becomes clear over time. When someone's actions repeatedly contradict their words, when selfishness appears where loyalty was promised, the Holy Spirit gently reveals that as well. Not to create bitterness, but to protect your heart from misplaced trust. True loyalty is not complicated when you learn to observe the fruit of a person's life. And when the Holy Spirit opens your eyes, you begin to recognize that genuine loyalty always grows from a heart that consistently produces good fruit. There are moments in life when betrayal feels impossible to imagine. You may look at someone who stands close to you, someone who has shared conversations, laughter, and even moments of prayer, and it may seem unthinkable that anything hidden could exist beneath the surface. Yet the truth is that not every heart reveals itself immediately. Some intentions remain concealed for a time. But the Holy Spirit is never unaware of what is hidden. One of the most remarkable ways the Holy Spirit works in our lives is by bringing truth into the light. Not through harsh exposure or dramatic confrontation, but through a quiet unfolding of reality. Over time, what was hidden begins to reveal itself. Words begin to contradict actions, small details begin to surface, attitudes begin to shift, and slowly, almost gently, the truth becomes visible. You see, betrayal rarely appears suddenly. It usually begins in small, subtle ways. A hint of jealousy that appears when you experience blessing. A quiet resistance when you move forward in the purpose God has given you. A change in tone, a subtle criticism, a conversation that carries a hidden edge. Often these signs are easy to overlook at first. We want to believe the best about people, and there is beauty in having a heart that hopes for the good in others. But the Holy Spirit is faithful to protect the hearts of those who walk closely with Him. There are times when you may begin to notice that something feels different. A conversation leaves an unexpected heaviness in your spirit. Words that once felt encouraging begin to carry an unfamiliar tension. Situations unfold that reveal attitudes you had never seen before. The Holy Spirit does not rush these revelations. He allows truth to emerge in its proper time. And when it does, it becomes unmistakably clear. Perhaps you discover that someone who spoke kindly in your presence speaks differently when you are not there. Perhaps someone who once celebrated your progress becomes uncomfortable when your life begins to flourish. Perhaps someone who promised support begins to withdraw when your journey requires sacrifice. These moments can feel painful. No one enjoys realizing that loyalty was not as strong as it once appeared. But the Holy Spirit does not reveal these things to wound your heart. He reveals them to protect it. Hidden betrayal has a way of quietly draining strength from your life. It can create confusion, doubt, and unnecessary emotional burden. But when the Holy Spirit exposes what is hidden, He frees you from that invisible weight. What once felt confusing suddenly makes sense. Situations that seemed puzzling begin to align with the truth that has been revealed. And in that moment, you realize that the Holy Spirit has been guiding you all along. Even more beautiful is the way he often reveals these things before deeper harm can occur. He may create distance between you and someone whose intentions are not sincere. Circumstances may shift in ways that separate your paths. At the time you may not fully understand why, but later the wisdom becomes clear. The Holy Spirit sees the motives of every heart. Nothing escapes his understanding. No hidden jealousy, no quiet resentment, no concealed betrayal remains unseen. And in his perfect timing, he gently brings the truth into the light, because what is hidden cannot remain hidden forever. There is something deeply comforting about knowing that the Holy Spirit does not only reveal what is wrong, he also lovingly guides us toward what is right. His work in our lives is not simply to expose disloyalty or uncover hidden motives. His greater purpose is to lead us into relationships that strengthen our faith, protect our hearts, and help us walk more faithfully in the path God has prepared for us. Sometimes when people discover that certain relationships were not as genuine as they believed, their hearts can become cautious or even wounded. They may begin to wonder if loyalty truly exists. They may question whether sincere friendship and faithful companionship are still possible. But the Holy Spirit never leaves a heart in that place of discouragement. Instead, he begins to gently guide you toward people whose lives reflect the character of God. These are individuals who do not simply appear at convenient moments. They are placed along your path with purpose. Their presence may not always be loud or dramatic, but their influence is steady and uplifting. They encourage your spiritual growth. They speak words that strengthen your faith. They support the calling that God has placed upon your life rather than competing with it. The Holy Spirit often draws you closer to these people in quiet ways. A conversation may begin unexpectedly and grow into a meaningful connection. A moment of shared prayer may reveal a deeper bond of faith. Over time, you begin to notice that being around them brings peace to your spirit rather than confusion or tension. Godly relationships carry a certain atmosphere. There is sincerity in the way these individuals listen to you. There is humility in the way they walk with God. They are not threatened by your growth or by the blessings that come into your life. Instead, they rejoice with you. They celebrate what God is doing, and they encourage you to keep moving forward. The Holy Spirit places great value on relationships that nurture the soul. Life's journey can sometimes feel challenging and uncertain, but when the right people are walking beside you, the burden becomes lighter. Their prayers support you. Their wisdom strengthens you. Their presence reminds you that you are not walking alone. Sometimes these relationships may begin in the simplest ways. You may meet someone during a moment when you least expect it. Yet as time passes, you begin to realize that this connection carries something deeper than coincidence. The Holy Spirit has brought your paths together for a reason. These are the individuals who help sharpen your spiritual sensitivity. They remind you of God's promises when you feel discouraged. They help you remain focused on your purpose when distractions appear. They are not perfect, but their hearts are sincere and their loyalty is genuine. The Holy Spirit delights in surrounding God's children with people who reflect love, faithfulness, and truth. These relationships become a source of strength and encouragement throughout life's journey. And as the Holy Spirit leads you toward these godly connections, you begin to understand something very important. You are not meant to walk through life surrounded by uncertainty about the people closest to you. When the Holy Spirit guides your relationships, the people who remain in your life will not only walk beside you, they will help you walk closer to God.